Alright guys, so just in time for the holidays, I've got an awesome new guitar to share with you guys in this video. But before I talk about the guitar, I actually want to follow up on a video that I did several months ago. Now the guitar I'm going to show you today is from the AIO brand, the All-in-One Guitars brand. And AIO sells the AIO brand and also the Wolf guitars, among other guitars. And they have a shop that they operate out of in Los Angeles. And several months ago, I was planning on doing a shop visit where I basically go in, I check out the shop, you know, kind of interview some of the people there, just see how the operation is. And I had been planning to do that earlier this year, but basically what happened is they have moved to a new location, and it is still in Los Angeles, but they've been in the process of, you know, moving their operation to this new place. And it's like a bigger building and everything. I mean, it's a cool upgrade for them. But because of that change, basically that shop visit video has been postponed. But I am still planning to do it. So for everybody who's been commenting, and especially on the original video, and they've been asking, hey, when are you going to do that shop visit video? That is still coming in the future. And I actually went over to the new location recently, and they're still in the process of, you know, getting the sign out front and all of that stuff. And I said, hey guys, you know, I've got to do a video, you know, I need to show the people something. And so they said, well, how about you show them a cool new guitar? And I said, I like guitars. And so they are letting me check out this stunning model, very kind of Christmassy vibe to it. I really like this. And this is one of the models that they've had for a while, but they have recently made a couple of really cool upgrades to it, which I want to highlight here. Now this model is called the AIO W400 TRE. TRE, as you can imagine, stands for trem, because as you can see here, this has a nice Wilkinson trim on it. And these can actually be set up as floating trims or more as a flush mounted trim like this one is here, where it's locked against the body. And I'll talk more about that in a second, but there's a few other things I really want to point out here. Another cool upgrade they've made recently on this guitar is that now it's equipped with a push pull pot here, so you can do coil splitting on both the pickups. It's got this little tag on here. I'm gonna rip this off right on camera here. Boom! There we go. And I think when we get into the demo section of this video, you can hear that you can actually get some really nice single coil sounds out of this guitar. And the other thing is that when these guitars were first being sold, pretty much all of the Wolf and AIO stuff was using gold hardware. Not everybody likes gold hardware. I do like gold hardware, but a lot of people were requesting that they can do some guitars with chrome hardware. So they've done that on these guitars. So the trem, pickups, and controls, and even the Grover tuners up here are all chrome. Now let's talk about the rest of the specs of the guitar. It's a mahogany body, a mahogany neck. It's a nice set neck there, as you can see. Ebony fretboard, bone nut, 24 frets on here, and it's a 25-inch scale length, as you would expect to find on a guitar with this body style. Now they call this color wine red, and it does have a flame top on it, although it's really a bit of a more subdued flame top. I've got some pretty bright lights set up here right now, but I'll give you guys some nice close-ups so you can really get a good look at this. There's some other nice little touches as well. The cream binding around the body, cream pickup rings, the abalone inlays on the fretboard, and the AIO script on the headstock. Also, for you crazy left-handed people out there, they have these guitars and a lot of the other models in left-handed versions as well. Okay, so there are some other specs I want to talk about as well, including the weight and balance of this guitar, and I also want to compare this guitar to my AIO LP, which I've got sitting back here. I got a ton of questions about that guitar, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the demo now so you guys can hear how the guitar sounds, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the guitar and I'll compare it to that other LP style guitar, okay? But now real quick guys, as always, if you enjoy checking out videos like this and checking out affordable guitars and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, so this guitar is beautiful, but let's plug it in and listen to how it sounds. Okay guys, so as you guys probably already know, I have checked out, over the years, I've checked out a ton of the Wolf and AIO guitars, and I think this style of guitar that they have, you know, I've had a few different ones. I had a semi-hollow body version of this guitar a few years ago. I think these guitars are sort of the best playing, maybe a close second or tied with it would be like their S1 guitars, which is like the neck through Super Strat. Those have such comfortable necks on them, especially with the satin finish on the back of those necks. But something about the neck profile and of course the awesome fret work that they do on these guitars just makes these guitars just so effortless to play. Something I always have to mention when I talk about these guitars is the setup, the really extensive setup that they do on these guitars. And I think that is really what separates these guitars from other guitars that are in, you know, similar body style, similar style, and kind of maybe a similar price range, even within, you know, a few $100. Because these guitars go for like $450, like around there, like $400 to $500, you know, depending on the model and if you get a case with it and that kind of stuff. And you're getting a lot of good stuff, you know, the ebony fretboard and the Grover tuners and all that, and coil splitting. the Wilkinson hardware. I mean, you're getting some cool stuff for that money. But again, the thing that really sets these guitars apart is this really extensive setup that they do on the guitars before they ship them out to you. So full fret dressing and everything. I've never gotten one of these guitars that had any kind of fret problems or sharp ends, anything like that. So many companies these days, they get the guitar from the factory, it's sitting in a box on a shelf, and somebody orders it and they slap a sticker on it and ship it out, and that's how you get it. You get it basically the way it came from the factory. But these guys, I mean, I've been down to their shop and I've seen the way they do the setup on these guitars. And again, for me, that is the thing that really separates them from other companies that are selling similar guitars. Now for me, sometimes I prefer a more metal looking guitar. Obviously I'm a 80s shredder guy and everything. And this body style is sort of middle of the road, right? It's kind of that blend between a Strat and a Les Paul. And it's also a body style that balances really, really well. Always keeps the neck up in a really nice position. Now I weighed this guitar and it was 7.5 pounds. So really it's a pretty average, comfortable weight for a guitar. Okay, so now the other thing I want to do here is compare the W400 guitar to this guitar here, the SC77. I can't get over how good this guitar looks. I love the abalone binding around the body and then the abalone inlays. Gold hardware on the gloss black finish with the ebony fretboard. It's such a classic, awesome look. But as good as it looks, there are some things that I prefer on this guitar. For instance, this guitar has 24 frets. This one only has 22. And along with the 2 extra frets that you get on this guitar, even if you're only looking at the 22nd fret, the fret access is better on this guitar because this one has a larger neck joint. This one's a little, the neck joint is a little further up the neck and it's a little smoother. And I love having the coil splitting capability of this guitar. I mean, if you can afford it, I'd say get both because they look so good together. But I guess if you're looking for something that's a little more traditional, just with that classic, elegant style of the LP, I don't think you can really beat this one. But if you're looking for a guitar that has maybe a wider variety of sounds in it, like different tones, and also is a little bit easier to play, a little more shreddy, then I think this one is your choice. Now the last technical thing that I really want to talk about with this guitar here is the trem right here. Now to be perfectly honest, this trem is not going to hold tuning as well as like a double locking Floyd Rose style trem because you don't have the locking nut up here on these guitars. But that being said, this thing is still light years ahead of a traditional Strat trem. The arm here is a nice just push-in style, so it has just the right amount of tension where it stays where you put it, and at the same time you don't have to like screw it in and screw it out just to put it in, put the guitar in and out of case and everything. Just pop this out and it goes right in, which saves a lot of time. Also, these saddles here are really nice. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, but these look like stainless steel saddles to me. But again, don't quote me on that, but that's what they look like. When it comes down to it, I think if you want a guitar with a trem, but you don't want a big Floyd Rose setup, I think this is what you want to go for. And just to wrap this up here, I think at the end of the day, one of the things that just keeps me coming back to the AIO stuff is that even though these were already good guitars and popular before, they still make little upgrades and little tweaks to these guitars to improve them. The coil splitting in particular is a really big deal on a guitar like this. It really expands the tonal options that you have. And even though they've added that upgrade, the price of the guitar really hasn't changed. Okay guys, so I always want to hear from you guys, the owners of AIO or Wolf guitars out there. Let us know what you think of the guitars in the comments section below. I always love reading the feedback and reading the comments that different guitar owners have, and in particular this brand has always been really rewarding to see those comments because people seem to love them so much. Okay guys, that is it for today. It is officially guitar shopping season. Now I'm going to put links down in the video description below. I will have a link for the amplifier I was using in the demo, which is the Fender GTX 100, and also a link for the guitar that I'm showing you. I will also have a link for my new instructional video that I collaborated on with Deacon Lacrosse. It's all about different picking styles. It's really, really good. So I will have a link for that down there as well, plus my social media and all that fun stuff. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.